play adventure now. Ord plays text-based adventures 3 words at a time, telling stories just with text alone on the screen. It's available for PS4, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One and PC, and it's a PS4 version you see on your screens. Ord is a fabulously unique and minimalist take on text adventures. Every screen starts off with a single word on it, and then you'll have the choice of 2 words down at the bottom. Depending on what you then choose, it will then place that as a second word on the screen and then give you your outcome underneath. And that could either move the tale on, change the tale that you're playing completely, or quite often kill you and end the tale. There are 5 stories to complete, but there are a variety of different endings that each one of them can get. Most of them involving you dying or something horrific happening, but some of them will actually end to a proper full ending, depending on what you choose. Ord then also switches things up by randomly placing different obstacles and different story elements in as well. So, for example, the first one that you go to is called Quest. And this sees you go through various different locations to try and end your quest and kind of fulfill your prophecy. However, in each location, it will randomly choose from a selection of different events that you can then choose your own adventure on and go down the path of. So replaying these adventures over and over again will trigger completely different events for you to then go for and tackle, for which you'll then choose your own adventure on and likely die and need to replay, and you might not get anywhere near the same type of story over and over again. The fun from this, and this is highly unusual for a Rattalaika game, if not the very first time ever, is that there's about 60 trophies and achievements that you're trying to kind of get on your way to completion. But it's a real mystery for some of them as to how to get there, because some of them will only appear randomly, some of them require some real kind of interesting runs down different paths. And actually, for a text adventure that works on just 3 words per screen and is highly minimalist, there is no particular sound to mention of or anything like that. It is just kind of laughing at the sometimes Henry Stickmin-esque nature of how things work, and a good wordplay and narrative experience that it plays out in just 3 words. It does an awful lot, and it keeps you hooked in because you're trying to go, right, I've not got all of these different endings, I've not got all of these different achievements as I'm working through. How can I methodically choose different ways to kind of get through the path? What's really good with that as well is that quite often it's like 1 in 4 choices will probably kill you. So you'll start to kind of map out in your brain, don't do that, do this, do that, and so on and so forth. The 5 different stories are also vastly different. So there's one about a quest, there's one that I found really hilarious about a bank heist, which goes backwards and forwards in time throughout the day, trying to see whether or not you prepared stuff and whether you've got your jaunty hat with you. There's one where you are God and you're creating different planets of life, and it basically asks you to terraform your own planet, and then depending on what you choose depends on the type of planet that you make. They're really, really different, and I've really appreciated that because even though it's still, again, 3 words on a screen, it feels different, it plays different, and it invests you in a very different way. The game is also localised for German, French, Russian, Japanese and Spanish. So if you prefer your games in those languages, then you can just change the options and it completely plays out with that too. If there was one thing that I kind of went, ooh, they could have done a little bit more of, is it's with the actual backgrounds and the way how the text appears on the screen. Because a couple of times it does something quite unique and atmospheric. So there's one where it rains on the screen. There's one where you go down a cave, and the deeper you go, the darker the words get until they're almost pitch black with the screen itself. And I wish that they had done more with that to create even more and more of an atmosphere as you went along all of these different words and kind of routes around, because there's ones like where you fight a goblin, or that there's fire, and I'd have liked to have seen maybe fire kind of appear in the background of the text or something like that, and they could have really ran with that if they'd wanted to, or had the time or capacity to be able to. As a result, they haven't, and that's really the only kind of downside that I see to Ord at all. Obviously, if you're looking for graphics, if you're looking for anything that isn't kind of from your pen and paper RPG imagination, you're going to struggle here. But this takes me right the way back to, and I'm going to show my age yet again, right the way back at the very beginning of my ZX Spectrum days. 80s child. There used to be games, RPGs basically would say like, you're in a room, there is a wall in front of you and a corridor to the left and right, and you'd have to type like forward, left, right, and that would be all of your gameplay because there was bugger all else on the screen to deal with. And it takes me back to that time where your imagination and wordplay and like slap in your face humour kind of plays a bigger role in gameplay, in telling that story. And I'm pleased that Ord has done something quite unique, and it will keep you entertained for a good hour or two. So yeah, Ord, out now, pleasantly surprised. You guys will take care. Written review over on higherplayinggames.com shortly, and happy gaming now. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a collection of media projects ran by me. If you like what you see and want to find out more, visit patreon.com/Higher Plane Network. Your support can make so much more possible, be that a like, a comment, a share, or a pledge. Thanks for watching.